Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Have you ever wondered what happens when you stop searching, stop chasing, and instead let go, creating space for someone to truly feel your absence? If you've ever been curious about the power behind stepping back, well, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into one of the most transformative strategies, pulling back to give them the chance to recognize the value you bring, a chance to realize what they've lost. Now, let's be clear, this isn't about manipulation or playing mind games. This is about valuing yourself enough to step into your own power, letting your presence speak louder than any words ever could. As the old saying goes, absence makes the heart grow fonder often. By creating a little space, by stepping back, our presence is amplified in a way it never could be while we're always there. Today, we're not just talking about stepping back, we're talking about reclaiming your power with a strength so profound it leaves a mark they won't soon forget. Imagine the courage it takes to turn your focus inward, to tune out the noise, and let your silence communicate what words cannot. This approach isn't about simply making someone feel your absence. No, it's about becoming so self-assured, so resilient, that when you're gone, the void you leave behind is unmistakable. Each principle we're discussing today is a step toward becoming a person who commands respect and admiration, a person who is missed not because they disappeared, but because their presence has become invaluable. This is your time to rise, to affirm to them and to yourself that your worth goes beyond words. Now, before we dive deeper, I want to set a challenge. If you're ready to step into your power and let your silence speak louder than anything you could say, drop a comment below if my absence will speak for me. This isn't just a phrase, it's a declaration of strength, a testament to your resolve, and a commitment to being unforgettable. Let's show the world and ourselves that this isn't just about stepping back, it's about stepping up in a way that makes your absence resonate like never before. So, are you ready? Thought experiment setting the stage. Let's start with a thought experiment to lay the foundation. Picture this: you are the sun in someone's life, the warmth that lights up their day, the energy that fuels their joy. Now imagine what happens when that sun suddenly disappears. The world becomes colder, a little dimmer, and the warmth that was once taken for granted is now a distant memory. As each day passes, that absence becomes more noticeable. What do you think happens then? Do they simply move on? Or do they begin to realize the value of what they lost? Consider someone in your life who used to be a significant part of your daily routine, a friend, a partner, or a colleague. Think about all the little moments of connection, the quick messages, the spontaneous calls, the casual hangouts. Now imagine all of that suddenly stops, not due to a disagreement, but because you decided it was time to focus on you. How do you think they would react? As the days pass and they don't hear from you, would they begin to feel your absence? Would they wonder why you went silent? You may be thinking, but won't they just forget about me entirely? This is a natural concern. But remember, this approach is not about disappearing completely. It's about subtly shifting the dynamics. By stepping back, you're not erasing yourself, you're creating a space for them to reflect and feel the impact of your absence. It's not about vanishing forever. It's about making your presence felt by stepping away just enough for them to feel what life is like without you in it. Think of it like viewing a beautiful painting. Sometimes stepping back allows you to see the full picture and appreciate its true value. And that's the core of our conversation today. We're not talking about playing hard to get, we're talking about the power space. When you stop searching for someone, when you redirect your energy to yourself, the dynamic shifts. The way they perceive you begins to change. They start to feel your absence in ways they may have never anticipated. Think about the last time you lost something truly meaningful, maybe a cherished piece of jewelry or a memento. Remember the sting of loss, the regret of not appreciating it while it was yours? That feeling is what begins to emerge in those who took your presence for granted. The difference, though, is that unlike a lost item, you hold the power to decide when or if you'll return. In revelations they'll experience when you step back. Now let's talk about the 10 stages they might go through as your absence settles in. As you read, take a moment to reflect on your own experiences and remember the times when someone's absence made you realize their value. What did you feel? What thoughts ran through your mind? Hold on to those feelings. They are the key to understanding what happens on the other side when you take that step back. 1. The shock of silence. Let's start with the first wave, the shock of silence. Imagine this, you're always the one reaching out, making plans, checking in. But one day you stop. Suddenly there's a silence that wasn't there before. It's like walking into a room and realizing the music has stopped. Something is missing. This silence isn't just about the lack of your texts or calls, it's a deeper absence, a disruption to the rhythm of their day. In that silence, they start to wonder, why haven't they reached out? Did I do something? The sudden void catches them off guard. That silence becomes loud, almost deafening. The quieter you become, the more they start to hear the echo of your absence in their life. It forces them to confront what they might have been taking for granted all along. Now, you may wonder, what if they don't care? What if my absence makes no difference to them? That's a legitimate fear. But here's the reality: if they don't feel your absence, if it doesn't cause even a slight ripple, then maybe this relationship wasn't as meaningful as you thought. It's hard, but that clarity is invaluable. 2. Realization of stability lost. Over time, they begin to realize you were more than just around. You were a source of stability, comfort, and strength. They may not have noticed it before, but your presence was an anchor in their life. Now that you step back, they're left to navigate without the steady hand they once counted on. And in that struggle, they begin to truly grasp the value of what you brought into their world. 3. The growing void. Day by day, your absence grows. Like a small crack in a dam, the emptiness you've left behind slowly widens. And with it, an awareness of how much space you truly occupied. They might try to fill that void with distractions, but it only magnifies what's missing you. 4. Reflections on past moments. As they think back on the times you shared, the laughter, the support, they begin to understand that those moments weren't just routine. They were special. Suddenly, those memories are not just memories, they are moments they miss deeply. 5. The sense of loss deepens. As time goes on, they feel the loss more intensely. The days without you seem a little harder, and there's an emptiness they can't ignore. The absence of your presence begins to feel like a weight. 6. A shift in perspective. They start to view you differently. When they reflect on the times you were there, they realize how much they may have overlooked, how much they may have taken for granted. They begin to see you in a new light, one that highlights just how important you were. 7. Resentment towards themselves. This realization can lead to frustration, but not with you. They may start to feel regret, even resentment towards themselves for not appreciating you when they had the chance. 8. Longing for reconnection. At this point, they may begin to long for the connection they once had with you. They might even consider reaching out, wanting to bring you back into their life. 9. Uncertainty and fear. Now, they may worry, what if they don't want to come back? What if it's too late? They realize they may have lost something significant, and that fear is a powerful motivator. 10. The ultimate realization, you're irreplaceable. Finally, they come to understand the true impact of your absence. You are not just someone who was around, you were someone special, someone who left an unforgettable mark. In this process, your absence has become a powerful reminder of your value, of what you brought to their life. So if you're ready to make your presence unforgettable, even in your absence, take that step back. Let them feel it. Let them recognize it. And in the quiet, let your worth speak volumes. There comes a moment of shift, really, when the absence of your presence, your energy, your unique spark, makes them realize something they hadn't before. It's in this space of silence that a deep realization starts to dawn. Picture this: after the initial shock of not hearing from you wears off, they begin to adjust, carrying on with life as usual. But each passing day brings with it a strange, nagging feeling. There's a sense of incompleteness, a quiet discomfort that hangs below the surface. And it isn't just about the absence of your texts, your calls. No, it's much bigger than that. It's about the absence of you, your laughter, your wisdom. That way you lifted their spirits without even trying. Life has a way of moving fast, and in the hustle and bustle, it's easy to take the people who are always there for granted. Those who show up, who give, who pour themselves out, these are often the ones that get overlooked. But when you step back, take a pause, stop pouring all that energy into them, they notice the emptiness that replaces what you gave. Imagine a puzzle with one piece missing. The picture just doesn't look complete. That missing piece, that's what you are. They start to realize that every small thing you did, all the seemingly insignificant moments, added layers of meaning to their days. They missed the way you listened, how you understood them, the advice you offered when they needed it most. They see now that your presence wasn't some background noise, it was the melody that gave rhythm to their life. As they come to grips with the silence, they start reflecting. They ask themselves hard questions. Why did I take them for granted? What was it about them that brightened my life? And slowly, they begin to understand your true value. You were never just there to fill space, you were there to add meaning. You gave depth and richness they can't easily find elsewhere. They start to see that what you brought to their life is something far beyond the ordinary. Think about it like this: you've got a favorite dish at a restaurant. It's a classic. You've ordered it so many times you don't even think about how good it is anymore. It's just there, always reliable, always delicious. But one day you try something else and it's not the same. The flavors don't hit the way that dish always did. Suddenly you realize just how much you love that go-to meal, how it satisfied something nothing else could touch. That's what happens when you pull back, when you step away. They realize that nothing else compares to what you brought into their life. This recognition of your value isn't a fleeting thought. It has the potential to change how they view you and the relationship as a whole. They start to see that you are a consistent source of positivity, strength, and joy. And now, with you gone, your absence echoes throughout their day. It's in the moments when they usually reach out to you for comfort, for advice, for a laugh. It's in the challenges they face without the reassuring support you provided. Albert Einstein said, "Strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value." And by stepping back, you've given them the chance to realize the true worth of what you gave. In the end, your absence speaks volumes. It's not just silence, it's a testament to the value of your presence. You gave them something they didn't recognize fully until it was gone. And that's powerful. It makes them want to reach back out to reconnect, but this time with a new respect for everything you brought to the table. Now let's talk about the void, because that's the next thing they're going to feel. After the initial silence, after recognizing the value you added, they're left with an unmistakable void. And this isn't just about missing a text or a phone call. This is about a deeper emptiness, the kind that goes right to the core. Think about it. Every small thing you did to care, the understanding, the quiet, steady comfort of knowing someone's there, suddenly it's all gone. Their daily routine feels off kilter. They wake up expecting that good morning text, but it doesn't come. They see something funny, reach out to share it, and then remember, you're not there. It's like the room that used to be filled with warmth and light has gone cold and dim. This void is profound because it's not just about what you did, it's about who you are. Your presence added something to their life that they can't replicate. As they go through the motions, they start trying to fill that space. Maybe they reach out to other people. Maybe they distract themselves with work or hobbies. But deep down, they know nothing fits the space you occupy. They feel that emptiness more keenly than they ever expected. Your absence becomes a mirror, reflecting back to them everything they lost. And that void, it's a constant reminder, a whisper that they've lost something meaningful, something they didn't even realize they needed. Like the French philosopher Voltaire once said, the art of being happy lies in the power of extracting happiness from common things. And you were that common thing, the quiet happiness they took for granted. Now, in the stillness of that void, they understand the light and warmth you brought into their life. But let's go one step further. After the silence, after recognizing your value, and after sitting with that uncomfortable void, something else starts to happen. Curiosity rises. They start wondering about you. Maybe they scroll through their phone, noticing they haven't heard from you in days, maybe even weeks. Questions start bubbling up. What are they up to? Are they okay? Are they moving on? It's an itch they can't scratch, and it builds over time. That curiosity becomes almost a fascination, a need to understand what's happening in your world now that you're not in theirs. This curiosity is a sign they're seeing you differently. When you were always around, always available, they didn't need to wonder. They knew where you were, what you were doing. But now there's mystery. A sense of intrigue surrounds you, drawing them in, pulling their thoughts back to you. It's like reading a novel where the next page is missing. They don't know what's going to happen. And that unknown becomes irresistible. The more you know, the more you realize you don't know. As Aristotle put it, they realize how much they took for granted, how much they thought they knew about you, but maybe didn't. That curiosity can be a powerful motivator. It can drive them to reach out, to try to reconnect, to rediscover the person they once thought they had all figured out. So as this curiosity grows, even though you've taken a step back, your absence continues to speak for you. It becomes a magnet, drawing them closer, making them want to understand this new version of you. The mystery of who you are, who you're becoming, calls to them. That's just the beginning of what they're likely to feel as they come to terms with the profound difference your absence makes. And if you're following along, you'll want to stick around, because we're just scratching the surface. Your absence doesn't just leave a gap, it shines a spotlight on everything they've overlooked. So stay tuned, because as we dig deeper, we're about to uncover the heart of how stepping back can make them see what they had and what they've lost. And remember, this isn't just a story about them missing you. It's about realizing the unique impact only you could bring. Hit that thumbs up. Drop your questions in the comments, and make sure to subscribe if you're feeling this journey. We're in this together, and there's so much more to explore. Now let's explore the fifth experience that might begin to take root in your absence: the growth of longing. At first it may be subtle, a curiosity, an idle wonder about what you're up to, but soon something deeper begins to grow, a sense of longing. This isn't a fleeting wish to hear from you or a casual desire to see you again. No, this longing is persistent. It's a feeling that expands and intensifies over time. Imagine this: they're going about their day, but every little thing triggers a memory of you. Maybe it's a song that used to play in the background when you were together, or a place you both used to frequent. It could even be a simple phrase, something you once said that now echoes in their mind. These small reminders, accumulating one after another, spark a yearning that can be hard to ignore. This isn't just about missing the big moments or grand gestures. No, it's the little things, the everyday interactions, and the simple joys of having you around that start to leave the deepest ache. This longing grows in the spaces where your connection used to be, and with each passing day without you, that yearning intensifies. It's like trying to quench a thirst with no end in sight. And slowly they realize it's not just about having someone around, they miss you in a way that's profoundly personal. As the days pass, they start to see what they overlooked when you were by their side. Marcel Proust once said, "The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes." Your absence provides them with these new eyes, a fresh perspective on what you meant to them. And they begin to understand the gravity of what they've lost. That longing grows, and through it, your absence speaks, pulling them with an undeniable force to a connection they never truly valued until now. Next, let's talk about the sixth experience they might feel in your absence: the sting of regret. As the curiosity deepens and longing grows, another emotion begins to set in: regret. This isn't just a casual what if or a momentary pang of nostalgia. This is a deep, painful realization that they may have taken you for granted, that they may not have fully appreciated you when they had the chance. And now that realization stings. Imagine them sitting alone, reflecting on the times you spent together. Suddenly it hits them, those moments when you reached out, offered support, made sacrifices they may have barely noticed at the time. They remember when they brushed off your concerns, ignored your efforts, or simply assumed you'd always be there, no matter what. Now, in your absence, they start to see those moments with fresh eyes, and the weight of their inattention begins to press down. Regret is a tricky thing. It often comes in waves of, if only they had been more attentive. If only they had reciprocated your efforts. If only they'd valued you as you deserved. These thoughts aren't just reflections on missed opportunities, they're filled with pain, because these are chances they can never get back. They feel the sting of what they let slip through their fingers, what they might have had. If only they'd been wise enough to recognize its worth when they had the chance. As philosopher Soren Kierkegaard put it, regret is like a sharp-edged sword, not always useful, but always felt it's a deep-cutting realization that they can't undo the past, a reminder that they can't go back and change what has already been done. But this feeling of regret, intense as it is, often becomes a catalyst for change. It can prompt them to reevaluate their values, to question their priorities, and maybe even to reach out and attempt to make things right before it's too late. Through this sting of regret, your absence speaks, reminding them that they should have valued you while they had the chance. It's a sobering realization, and it may be enough to push them toward introspection and, if possible, reconciliation. And now let's dive into the seventh feeling that may begin to arise as your absence lingers, the intrigue of mystery. When you were always around, they knew what to expect from you. You were there, predictable, reliable. But now that you step back, something interesting happens. You become a mystery, an enigma. Suddenly they're seeing you through a different lens, one they can't fully understand. This newfound mystery is captivating. Think about it. They realize they don't know what you're up to anymore. You're no longer sharing your thoughts, your plans, or your daily routine with them. This unpredictability intrigues them. They start to wonder what's going on in their life. Who are they spending time with? What new things are they exploring? Without me, their curiosity grows, and it dawns on them that they don't know you as well as they thought. Oscar Wilde once said, "The truth is rarely pure and never simple. This sentiment captures the essence of mystery of being more than meets the eye." Your absence adds depth to their understanding of you. You become like a favorite character in a story, suddenly more layered, more complex. It's as if in stepping away, you've become someone worth discovering all over again. This sense of mystery, this unfamiliarity, it draws them in. They're no longer privy to the inner workings of your life, and that unpredictability becomes almost magnetic. So through this intrigue of mystery, your absence speaks yet again, inviting them to wonder about the new dimensions of you, and maybe, just maybe, to long to understand you again. Finally, let's discuss the eighth feeling they might encounter as time goes on: the power of reflection. After they've experienced the initial shock of your silence, the curiosity, the sting of regret, they eventually find themselves in a state of deep reflection. This isn't just a fleeting thought. No, this is a space where they begin to truly consider the relationship, you and themselves. Your absence creates room for this reflection to take place. With nothing but memories to lean on, they replay conversations, moments of shared laughter, instances when you showed up for them without a second thought. And now, with you gone, they start to see it all with a new clarity, a clarity they may never have had when you were still present. Through reflection, they recognize times they may have been too focused on their own lives, their own needs, and overlooked the value of what you offered. This introspective period brings them face to face with the ways they may have fallen short. It's humbling. But with this reflection comes growth, as they begin to see not only the impact you had, but also the potential of what you both could have shared if they'd only been willing to invest more in you and in the relationship. As Socrates said, the unexamined life is not worth living. This time of reflection, catalyzed by your absence, encourages them to examine their choices, to understand themselves and how they may have impacted you. It's a journey of self-awareness, one that might even lead them to recognize patterns of behavior that have haunted their past relationships too. And so your absence speaks again, this time in a voice that calls for growth, encouraging them to truly value the lessons you've left behind. It's through this reflection that they may finally realize just how much richer their life was with you in it, and how the lessons of your absence could change their lives should they have the chance to reconnect with you. You know, there's something captivating about self-sufficiency, a kind of magnetism that doesn't shout but demands attention. Let's talk about what happens when you step back and create space, leaving people to sit with your absence. It changes things. It's no longer that you're always around, that person who's forever available, giving at the drop of a hat. No, now you're stepping into the light as someone strong, independent, and powerful all on your own. When you walk away and start doing things for yourself, something curious begins to unfold in the eyes of those who are watching. Suddenly, you're not the same person they thought they knew. Now, they're seeing you as someone self-reliant, a person who's carved out their own joy and isn't waiting for anyone's approval. And let me tell you, that kind of strength is magnetic. There's a pull, a fascination. They're left wondering, how are you thriving? How are you out here chasing your dreams, investing in what lights you up, and living your best life without skipping a beat? This shift in perception, this realization can change the entire game. Picture this, they're watching you become someone different, someone more. You're evolving, growing, shining even brighter in their absence, and that kind of transformation doesn't go unnoticed. A self-sufficient person is indeed a beacon, someone who radiates confidence. You're no longer looking for validation, not chasing anyone for completion. They might have thought you leaned on them for happiness, but they're realizing you're fully capable of creating your own. That kind of realization, it shakes things up, stirs a mix of emotions. On one hand, maybe they're feeling regret for not seeing your strength sooner. On the other hand, they're finding themselves drawn to you like never before, captivated by your resilience. It's like Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, self-reliance is the height of man when they see you standing tall without needing anyone to hold you up. It challenges their entire perspective of you. They underestimated you didn't see that you could thrive just as much, if not more, on your own. You become someone they can't quite take their eyes off. And there's no ignoring that kind of strength. This transformation doesn't just lead them to appreciate you more. No, it makes them question their own inner strength. Have they been relying too much on others for their happiness? Have they leaned too heavily on outside validation? Your independence, your ability to flourish on your own, becomes a silent message. It's a reminder, clear as day, that real strength comes from within. You're showing them without saying a word that self-sufficiency is magnetic, powerful, and undeniably attractive. And now let's talk about the 10th thing, the inevitable pull of reconnection. Once they felt the silence, experienced that void, acknowledged your worth, and been captivated by the magnetism of your independence, something big happens. All these emotions, curiosity, longing, regret, self-reflection, they build up, forming a powerful, undeniable desire to reach out. Think about it, they've been replaying the moments you shared over and over. Days, maybe weeks, or even months have passed, and they still can't shake the sense of loss. They realize that your absence has left a gap nothing else seems to fill. No distraction, no casual connection can replace what they had with you. The people they've met since, the attempts to find solace elsewhere, none of it holds up. None of it compares to the bond they had with you. It's not just nostalgia, it's deeper. It's about recognizing that what you shared was unique, something that can't be easily replicated. They're starting to see that life was brighter, fuller, more fulfilling with you in it. That connection with you brought a level of joy, a sense of completeness that they've been unable to find anywhere else. They're yearning to feel that again. And here's the catch, this desire isn't just about missing the old times, it's about being drawn to the person you've become since then. They're not just thinking about who you were back then. No, they're intrigued by the strong, self-assured version of you that's emerged in their absence. Your growth, your resilience, your independence, they're all part of the allure now. You're no longer just a memory, you're someone transformed. They're seeing you as someone who's taken their life in stride and come out the other side stronger and wiser. This is what makes the desire for reconnection more than just a passing thought. It's a real, powerful pull to reach back out, to try and rebuild something that was once so meaningful. And now they're imagining what reconnecting might look like. They're thinking about the conversations you could have, the experiences you could share, all with the wisdom and growth you've both gained. This desire to reconnect isn't about going back, it's about building something new, something stronger, on a foundation that's been tested and transformed. F. Scott Fitzgerald said, there are all kinds of love in this world, but never the same love twice. They're coming to realize that what they had with you was rare. And the possibility of rekindling that connection, of creating something fresh and even better, is a thought that's hard to shake. Your absence has left a mark, a void they can't fill with anyone else. And that void, it's not just empty space, it's a reminder of what they had and the undeniable draw to have it again. So as the desire for reconnection grows, your absence starts to speak louder than any words. It's no longer just a memory of who you were that pulls them back, it's the person you become, the strength you now embody. They're realizing that reconnecting with you might be the only way to fill that void. In your absence, you become more than just a memory. You become a force that pulls, that speaks, that teaches. Through longing, regret, mystery, and reflection, you remain present in ways they may never have anticipated. And as these feelings grow and evolve, so too might their understanding of what they lost. Whether they reach out to rekindle what was lost or simply carry the lessons forward, your absence has left an indelible mark, a testament to the value of what you both shared and the importance of valuing those who enrich our lives while they're still within reach.